I'm Jackie Jones of Jones and Associates Law PC, your family fixer. And I'm coming to you from my private page because I'm not even sure if I'm going to show this on my business page or not. But this pandemic has got me shook, like lots of other people. I have been reading and watching and hearing about all the assistance that's supposed to be offered to small business. Spoiler alert, we didn't get it. And now unemployment, and I hear people are getting their unemployment plus this extra $600. I couldn't qualify for it when it first came out because I am self-employed. As you know, I own a business. Now, the great thing I've always said about owning a business is that you don't have to worry about someone else taking away your potential for income. Like, no one can just fire me. But the bad thing about owning a business is that you don't have all the same protections ordinarily when things like this happen. So when everyone suddenly had to be called home and they couldn't work from home and they couldn't make any money, they immediately applied for unemployment and they were getting the extra $600 a week. And then you have people like me who own a business who were not employees. So even though I lost all of my income, even though the government said that I was not essential, and it's funny because we're not essential, but people are still going to jail and they need lawyers. And we're not essential, but people are still fighting over custody and we still have to make sure kids are protected. And we're not essential, and yet there are protection from abuse orders happening and lawyers are going in masks and gloves so that they can try to protect people who are being physically abused in the middle of this pandemic. But we're not essential. So at any rate, as with any lawyer, we get ourselves in the fray. Whether or not the world thinks they need us, we fight these battles. But fighting these battles may mean that we don't have any money. So I did what any business owner does. I tried to pivot. I thought, well, what are the services that I can offer right now? And one of those obviously is estate planning. So I've been telling people, do your wills, do your powers of attorney for healthcare or for finances. And I've been setting up specials, and I probably should have done a better idea of advertising because everyone should have a will or power of attorney or something right now. But so if you need those, like, holla at your girl. I have specials for individuals and families. But what I also realized is that my income is not going to be the same. The first few weeks or so of the pandemic, it was great. I'd send out bills and people were paying me like, hey, here's your money. And I was like, this is going great. And then I had a couple people who were acting a fool over custody. And I was like, I can bill them. This is going great. And then there were no hearings. And this is not going great. And we have some hearings like for a half hour over the telephone. This is not going great. And like most people, I found myself laying around in bed longer, not wanting to get up, eating lots of snacks. We're out of chips now, so hey, this body's coming back. But at any rate, this pandemic has got me shook, like I said. Now, with the new things that have been happening here in the United States, and I say that because I see one of my friends from abroad. Hey, how is it in England, Amanda? One of the things that happened is obviously I had to make sure I paid my health insurance because I don't live in a country where they make sure everyone has health insurance. So I need to have enough money to make sure that if something happens to me, I don't die because no one will take me on, right? So yeah, I'm always like to have enough from health insurance. And then I started hearing about this PPP and I'm like, well, maybe I can get one of these paycheck protection loans or one of these things to become grants so that I can continue to pay the rent in my office. Here's the deal. I don't ever want to go back to my office. I never want to go back to my office. Like, I get that at some point this will be kind of over, but I'm doing okay working from home, or maybe I can work from a co-working space or only occasionally go in when I have to. But I'm shook, and I don't want people just showing up all the time. I keep saying I'm shook. I didn't think I was, but I am. I don't want people just showing up randomly in my office anymore. Like, I've had people call or email or text and say, hey, Jackie, I have that paperwork you sent. Because, in the beginning I was productive. Let me send this out, get this filled out. We'll be back in a few weeks, maybe. And my friend was like, no, sweetie, 8 weeks, easily. And I was like, oh, no, we'll be fine. I was wrong. She was right. She has the MPH. Okay, Dana. So they're like, can we drop it off? And I was like, look, no, I'm not going to be there. Like, you can put it through the window. Like, I'm trying to figure out why everyone is not bought a scanner at this point and just scan stuff to me. But I had people who was like, no, you can put this through the window because we have a little slot, a mail slot, put it through there. I'm not touching it. And even when I do go in and check my mail, like, this is how I do my general routine, stay home. If I'm running out of medication, I'll order my medication. On the day of the medication run, I go into my office. I pick up all of my mail. Now, this is how I walk in. I have my mask on my face. I have my car wipes because I have wipes in the car. My car wipes I use to open the doors going into the office. I do not speak to anyone who might be in their own personal offices because I don't want, I go into my office. I using my wipes to wipe all the doors. I get in. I throw down my car wipe. I get my indoor office wipes just in case somebody was in my office. No one's in my office, but I don't know. And I wipe down the surfaces in the office and whatever, pick up my mail using those wipes and see and then I, open the mail if it's important. If not, I'm like, if it's not looking like it's really important, it's just going straight in the trash. I don't care. I start packing up the things that I need to take, like if it's clients that I needed to pick up information for and all that kind of things. I get all that gathered up. I take more of the office wipes, use those to go out of the office, put everything else, come back using a set of wipes to come back into the office, lock everything up, get my last round of things, and then I'm done. It's much. It's very much. I'm extra. I get that, but whatever. Then as the ride home, I call my daughter, who has already gone through all the sales papers, determine what we need for food and snacks. We go to the Walmart where I meet her at the house. She has her gloves, her hand sanitizer, and her mask on. We go to the Walmart. While I am picking up my medicine from the Walmart, she starts getting things and putting in the cart, which, by the way, I sanitize. I started bringing my own wipes because I don't even trust the Walmart ones anymore. So I sanitize the cart, get all of our stuff, get in the car, put all the stuff in. Sanitize the gloves. I know this is crazy. Sanitize the gloves. Go to the market. Hey, mate. Go to the market. Do our market shopping. When we come out of the market, I then take off the gloves, folding them in on each other, throwing them directly in the trash, hand sanitize, wipe down the steering wheel and everything, and take all, and then take the mask off with the sanitizer. It's a whole process. But at any rate, and I've done this for a while. And mind you, I haven't been out to the market in 3 weeks. So this just lets you know I've been extra since before they said to be extra. But all that to say, I can't even imagine going back into my office for real, and I can't even going back into my job. So yeah, okay, well, Bill, you're talking about Ian and his wife are self-employed. So here's the thing. I applied for the unemployment today, and that's what we're supposed to talk about, the pandemic assistance. For those of us who are unemployed, as of Monday, it opened it up for us. So everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, you're getting this, you're getting that. First off, people who were self-employed, not only were we not getting income from our business, we weren't even allowed to apply for unemployment. It didn't open up for us here until Monday. So, and yeah, I know I waited till Thursday, but the reason I waited till Thursday is because I was getting my tax returns done. I wanted to make sure my tax return matched my matched my quarterly statements, because one of the things you have to do when you're self-employed is you have to put in your quarterly income for the previous year. Now, here's the other thing about the previous year. Last year was awful for me. It was the first year I had no full-time employees for a long time. I was dealing with my health issues, so I wasn't working full-time. I had made less last year than I had made since the beginning of my practice. So it was like my worst year ever. This year, I was already on track by March. I had made half of what I made for all 12 months. I had made half of that in 3 months. So at the rate I was going to get right back on track. Everything was going great. And then Corona happened, which meant that this year is also going to be possibly a really bad year, right? But my so-called unemployment as self-employed is going to be based on last year. So they're not going to look at where I was the first quarter with how well I was actually doing. They're going to look at last year, which is my worst year ever because I was sick and I didn't have an employee and I actually didn't get to work as much because I was going through my iron deficiency and all that. You guys heard enough about me going through that and how many months it took for me to start functioning again, which is why this year is great, whatever. The long and short of it is, it's hard. If you ever applied for unemployment, you are a genius because it's hard. I've never done this in my entire life. I've always owned my own business. So not only is it hard to apply for it, you also have to, they want to know if you're a gig employee or you are a self-employed or certain types of people. If you're a contractor, an independent contractor, they want you to enter in your last place of employment. But my last place of employment is my business. But then they want to know things like my salary. Well, I don't have a salary. I take a draw because I own it. It's all mine. I have to pay taxes on all of it it's my income. Anyway, I don't even know. And when I look like it, I feel like I did it wrong because they were you're eligible for the lowest amount, which is $195 a week or something. So plus the $600, I guess that means I can get $800 a week. And that's only with the 600. Like if that doesn't happen, then I'm back down to $200 a week. And I'm like, who lives off of that? Is what? And I was like, but that doesn't even comport with my bad year last year. Like, but I don't know if that's because I said technically I can still work part-time, but it's part-time, but there's no guarantee. So it's really weird. Like I have a new client. Well, he's an old client. He had a new matter, which by the way will force me to go into court because it's a protection from abuse, which they're actually doing in person, which means that I have to put on clothes. And I was like, I don't even know what clothes I'm going to put on because my cousin who's a nurse, when she goes out, she actually has her kids leave a towel for her at the door and she puts everything into a bag and leaves it there, goes in, takes a shower, washes her hair, does all that kind of stuff before she even sees her kids. So those clothes are all like immediately washed. Well, I'm an attorney. The clothes that I wear to court are not washable generally. They are dry clean. I'm clearly not going to leave clothes sitting waiting for a dry cleaner to open, which means I have to find something that looks like it's good enough for court, but it's actually machine washable because when I have to go to court next week, I'm going to have to wear something that I can leave at home and immediately do all the things that our first responders do. And actually leave it there. I'm also going to have to make sure I have multiple masks. So I may have to get my sewing machine over there. I may have to get my sewing machine out and do some extra masks because I have like a painter style mask I wear, but I will probably need a fabric one over it. And I certainly want to make sure whatever mask that I'm pulling out or using while I'm in the court is separate than what I'm using in home or as I go home or as I'm out and about, just to make sure that I'm safe. My daughters have asthma. I have, I have diabetes. So these are all things that could cause problems. So I want to make sure that I'm being as safe as possible. But I'm also, because it's a former client and because it's a serious case for him, I'm also charging him not very much money. I mean, it's less than what I usually charge for this kind of thing. So I'm like, my gosh, am I putting my life on line for a couple $100? But by the same token, I also know that his whole life and livelihood is on the line because, this was this kind of false arrest on a protection from abuse issue, and he's working from home and he needs to work and he has a child to take care of. So it's kind of like we're all in this together doing our part. That being said, I applied for the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, PUA. I'm telling you that because if you were someone who's unemployed, you were self-employed. Hey, Mike, I'm glad you're on because you're also self-employed. When you are someone who's self-employed, you can now file for that. But if you go under the general unemployment, it won't work. I started to file that and they started asking about my employer and I was like, something's not right. So I went back in again and I saw PUA, which is Pandemic Unemployment Insurance. So that's for the people, assistance. So that's for people who are self-employed. You need to actually go to that section. If you're a gig employee as well, a 1099 contractor, you go to that one and you apply under there because it's for people specifically like us who do not have an employer who pay us a regular salary. Now, we all know a few weeks ago, I did this live on my business page. I do a lot on my business page. Maybe I should just start talking here to all of y'all who know me and send it to my business later. I don't know. But I talked about how you should be thinking for your families, because I call myself the family fixer. I talk a lot about how people should do better with their families, their children, whether it's custody support or estate work when someone passes away. Those are the things that I try to help you with your regular family life. I have experience in that. I've been through all the stuff. Honey, I done been through the custody battle. I done been through the guardianships. I had been through somebody dying unexpectedly. I had been through taking over the care of someone's kids unexpectedly. I know it all. And I know it not just as the lawyer, but I know it as a woman. And that's why, honey, I'm the family fixer because we done been through it. But what I told people was don't be afraid to file for assistance. Now, I didn't do it when I said I would. Now, my children actually qualify for Medicaid. They qualified for Medicaid prior to their adoption. They qualified under, some things. For instance, if your children have certain medical conditions, like a chronic medical condition, they can qualify. If they have some kind of mental health condition, they qualify. If they have an IEP in school at all, they qualify. Now, why am I saying this? Some of you are like, my kids have insurance under me. That's fine. Let them have insurance under you. But my kids have free insurance under the state because it actually qualifies for full, I don't have to pay, my kids didn't know you pay things like copay. Like when I go to get my medicine, they're like, you have to pay for your medicine? Yeah. Only your medicine is free. You go to the doctor, you have to pay for your doctor? Yeah, only your doctor is free. So like I said, if they qualify, they qualify. But I was talking to their caseworker because I was trying to update some documents. Lord knows I'm always trying to update documents, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I should have just applied for like some food or some cash or something. And she's like, yeah, you're self-employed, right? I said, yeah. She said, well, any quarter, any month where you are not working, where you're not getting income, you should go ahead and apply. I was like, yeah, I mean, I had paid taxes for like a lot of years. And she's like, you should do it. You could go ahead. And I know I told people they should apply for public assistance. I just didn't do it. I think there's a part of me that's just like, look, I've always worked. I have savings. I don't have much savings because I've been paying off student loans and, whatever. I don't have much savings. And my kids are about to go to college. So, no, I don't have the kind of money I want. But I've never applied for unemployment. I've never had to think about applying for public assistance. And I think now is the time where I've told all my clients, you should apply and get everything you're eligible for. So why could I tell people to get everything they're eligible for? Sorry, I put on the flash because, why would I tell people to get everything they're eligible for and then not, I think I like the softer light, and then not do it for me? I think there's a part of me that was mistakenly prideful. I think there's a part of me that's like, well, I don't want to be on public assistance, or I don't think I'm going to qualify, or I don't want to get cash. I don't want to get food stamps. I don't want to get blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and Crystal, that's what I said. I do pay my taxes. I paid my taxes since I was a 16-year-old. I should apply. 30 years of working. 30 years of work. When I was in school, I was working. When I was in law school and not supposed to work, I was working. I pay taxes all the time. I will pay taxes again. I will probably pay taxes this year. But I never thought about, like, why should I be applying? So I'm saying that I am going to apply for everything. Yes, Peggy, we were just talking about how I'm self-employed so I can get the new unemployment. I just finished filing for that this afternoon. And so I was saying that after I filed for that, I talked to a caseworker at the county assistance office dealing with my kids' insurance. And she said, look, for any month you don't have income, you should apply for public assistance. And I was like, yeah. But you know what, truth be told, here's the thing I have to think about that's smart. Let's say I apply and I get food stamps temporarily. Remember what happened a few years ago? I didn't do it then either. Everyone had gone through, we had this big storm. A lot of people had damage and they were just giving out emergency food for anybody. Like, you didn't really have to prove anything. It was like, oh yeah, I had the storm. And I mean, I owned a house and that happened. I didn't apply then either. I didn't, because I was like, I'm all right. I can eat. And like someone was saying, like, get everything you can. At least you can share the application process from an authentic place. You're right. You are right. I can share it. And I will say this. In 2008, when everything went belly up, I did apply back then because I was like, what am I going to do? I was only had these kids for a couple of years. They were young. I had never had this problem. I had left my law firm. And so I was restarting my practice. And I was like, what am I going to do? I talked to the woman and I was just trying to, like, I just need the kids to continue to have their insurance and, and she was like, listen, I was like, but I don't know how I qualify because at that point I was not legally their mother. But they wanted my income and I was getting cut out. Well, what she ultimately did was the woman knew my story. My kid's story is tragic enough. It was on the news. It was all over the place. People around the city knew it, and she recognized their names, and she recognized the situation. And she was like, "Yeah, you're taking care of them." And at that point, like I said, they were not my kids. Legally, I had not adopted them. And she said, "Send me the stuff from your my last quarter. I had worked at the firm, and then from then on, I went to my working for myself. So that was the last W-2 I had." She took that W-2. I don't know what she did. Like, it was my whole income for the year. The next thing I knew, we were getting food stamps. It was so much. I didn't even know, like, how do people eat this much? Like, I was like, this is why people can buy all this steak. And my kids would go in. They'd be like, you can have what cereal you want. You want candy? You want this? It was a great 6 months. It was wonderful. I had never experienced the likes of this. I did not have to budget for my food like I was used to. Like, I believe in coupons, so I can make $1 scream. And I was like, what y'all need? Like, what y'all need? But after that, obviously, we stopped going based on my income because they never qualify and went based on their own qualifications. So they were able to get Medicaid. But when I talked to her today, and she was very much like, apply for assistance. I should have done it. I should have done it weeks ago. And you know why I should have done it weeks ago? Because when I went and my kids were in a panic and I spent $200 this week for food and then we go and spend another couple hundred, that is money I should have been saving for my mortgage, which there's no assistance for. That I should have been saving for my utilities, which there's no assistance for. Now, as you guys know, PECO, what they've done is basically said they're extending this thing where they are not forcing us to pay or they're not turning off any utilities for what? Somebody write in here when it is. Is it June or July? Anybody here in PA, at least type in when PECO said they're not going to try to turn anyone's electric off. And if you're in another state, tell me what your state is doing, because I'm trying to make sure, I want to see something. I also know that a lot of the mortgage companies are giving you relief. My mortgage company called and they were like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I want whatever pandemic stuff you guys have. What do you have? And they're like, well, we can give you 3 months where we don't put any interest and we don't put any enforcement and we don't report it. But of course, come July, they want us to pay it all. 90 days in Jersey? Okay, Amy, great. I think we are about 90 days in PA too, because it should be about June, end of June or something. So when they first announced it, they announced it pretty quickly here. So I have 3 months where if I'm late with my mortgage, they're not going to count it against me. Now, that doesn't mean don't pay, because you know what'll happen on July 1st. They want all of their money, like all of it's due at once. So be careful. I don't know if you have car payments, you can talk to them. I don't have car payments. I don't believe in that. So I don't have that. But you want to look at things like whether utilities are late, rent. Remember this with rent as well. There can be no evictions right now. There's no foreclosures right now for mortgages. There's no evictions right now. And, oh, Jan, you agree? Go for it. I paid taxes. I have paid taxes. So if you are someone who rents, I would suggest if you can afford to pay. But otherwise, Delmarva's through June 1st, perfect. So everyone's giving some relief. Now, here's the thing. If you are currently working, like let's say you are teleworking and you're getting your full salary, this might be the chance for you to have a come up. I saw somebody who said that what they did was they got $3,400 back. They got $1,200 for each of the adults, and then they also got money for the kids. So they ended up getting a total of $3,400. What they did was they used that immediately on debt because both of them are teleworking. So they just paid down debt because they could pay all the regular bills the right way. That's a smart thing to do if you were still working. Like if you're still working, try to reduce everything you owe, because we don't know how this long it's going to last. If you don't have enough savings, you could be in a bad position. So if you have a job that's pretty steady, you work for the insurance company like my mother does, and you're working from home, you're working from something that you already work from home, or the industry is you work for the government. They're not, we're going to talk about the government in a second, but the federal government, they're just continue to save your money, continue to pay everything down, don't take on new debt. Now, here's the other thing. So we talked about pandemic assistance for unemployment, that PUA, pandemic unemployment assistance for those of us who are self-employed, who are gig employees, and 1099 employees. We talked about considering things like the county assistance office, which could be, it's the old welfare office. I know we don't call it that anymore, but I know how you going to go to the welfare office. I done paid taxes. So consider that, especially making sure that your children continue to have health insurance. I did talk to my health insurance. They were allowing us to make partial payments in April. I'd paid the whole thing because I was afraid. Hey, Mavis, I hope you're doing well in the Bahamas. You guys aren't suffering. I paid the whole thing of my insurance because I was not trying to let all of a sudden me be exposed to COVID and not taking my medicine and then be on a respirator somewhere. So I was paying insurance. Think about your life. But, you go for the unemployment, you go for county assistance. But here's the thing that is different that I want people to know. They have started to lay off people from I'm going to just speak for Delaware County, Pennsylvania, from our local government. That's right. Local government is already laying off people. I started getting phone calls about people being laid off in the public defender's office. I also started getting calls about people being laid off in child support enforcement and child support offices. Here's my issue with support. I think I saw someone in probation and parole being laid off. What? Probation and parole? Oh, Mavis, you guys have a curfew and a lockdown. We don't really have curfews around here so much in this country, Mavis, at least in most places, but we do have lockdowns where they tell us not to leave. But, I mean, it's not much different if you can't leave. Either way. But, so here's the deal. If you have a safe county job, to find out your safe county job is not safe, that is terrifying. Do I expect they will call people back? Peggy, you said they're paying employees health insurance. I hope they're paying their health insurance. That would be great. They need to. But here are some things not to think about. So we've been doing partial court. By partial court, I mean this. Emergency things like emergency custody. When the parent won't let the other parent see the child or ran off with the child, we're still doing it. Someone has protection from abuse, meaning you're being abused by someone in your home, maybe threatened, beat up. We are absolutely doing those, and we're doing those in person. Also, if someone is arrested and they're charged with a crime and they may be able to plead or get the case disposed of, we're doing those in person too. But if you have something like you lost your job, you're in danger of losing your house, you're in danger of losing everything, and you want to apply for relief when it comes to your child support, they're not doing it. Yeah. And Jan mentioned about the giving a forbearance. You're right. They should just give a forbearance and give the 3-month forbearance tacked on the end. Mortgage companies aren't doing it because they don't have to. And that's the problem. Mavis, you guys had 70 cases and 9 deaths. Is that only in Nassau or is that all of Bahamas? Because, here in Pennsylvania, I don't even know. I mean, our county has more cases and deaths than that. Like, my city has more cases than that right now. It's out of control in here in America. I mean, a couple people on this live are from different parts of the world. And I mean, Amanda was in England. I mean, I think things are obviously different once your prime minister got it. Mavis, your husband, I mean, is he in the States or is he back in the Bahamas with you? Because her husband is an ambassador to the U.S. So obviously he is, you have a really difficult responsibility in your family, Mavis, with whether or not your husband is going to be back here or whether he's going to be at home. Oh gosh, Peggy, I'm so sorry. Your aunt died last night of COVID. I have a cousin who's on a ventilator now in the hospital with COVID as well. I have a sister in her 20s who is pregnant, and she had, not Jasmine, because I know some of you think it's Jasmine, it's Kyra, who she also had COVID and had to go through that. And Francis, yes, some banks are doing it the right way, which is just adding on to the end instead of making someone pay for 4 months of mortgage at one time. And then there are people like Jordan who just got on, who are becoming TikTok famous, because everyone in the family is talking about Jordan on TikTok. You have a lot going on. But, hey, Veronica, but at the end of the day, like, there are so many steps for how to protect yourself. And I just don't want you to make the mistake I did, that letting your pride keep you from applying for something you might be eligible before. Like, I should have applied for food stamps because I should have been spending my money on things that I would not be able to get assistance for. Like, my kids would, hey, miss you too, Jordan. My kids obviously eat like 16 and 17-year-old. I tried hiding food. They found it. Like, I don't even know how they sniffed it out or something, but they found it all. All the snacks are gone. The snacks are gone. And now they have to eat my real food and I have to cook. And they're out here talking about what you making for dinner. What you gonna make for dinner? So, I'm cooking every day. I've made up my own version of balsamic chicken because it was delicious. And my daughter wants me to make that again. And I don't even know how I made it. So what I'm saying is, now is the time to apply for everything. And if you were like me and you let your pride get in the way and you thought I shouldn't apply for this or I shouldn't ask for that or whatever, hey, Francis, like, think of your family. We have paid taxes for a good long time. We have done a lot for a long time, and we have not, like me, I haven't asked for help. But this is not asking for help. This is actually asking to be refunded some of what I put into the system. Like, I paid into the system so that I can use it. And I made the mistake of not using the system because I was just like, well, I'll wait until I need it. Really, I'll wait until I have nothing. Well, that's not smart, because before I have nothing, I really need to do things like pay for electric and keep trying to pay my mortgage and all that. So I've also 11 updates. Oh, Bahamas just had 2 more deaths. Sorry to hear that. I have also been doing some other things. As you all know, I can't do one thing. So I have been, my course, the custody boot camp is now all been recorded. It is ready to go. Why is it not done? Because I've been so busy with everything else. I haven't added the papers that go with it. Like, I have assignments that I want you to do as part of the custody boot camp, and I need to do the assignment, put the assignments in. So that should have been done weeks ago, but okay. I also have about 5,000 words, 5,200 words of my new book that's coming out, How Not to Get Arrested During COVID-19. If you look at my Jones and Associates Law PC page, you will see a little bit. You'll see I put up yesterday the cover for that. So that book can be coming out soon. I'm in the middle of editing, and my copywriter is very angry with me right now, probably because she's waiting for me to give her the stuff so she can finish my updates and edits. But okay, I have also started. I started a class that I was taking on low content books because I wanted to do like a couple of writing prompts and journals for people because I know how I get through it, and I just like to help people kind of get through it. And then of course I'm working, and I'm doing court on telephone, and I am talking with clients, and I'm sending emails, and I'm drafting settlement agreements for divorces, and I am dealing with custody cases. So yeah, I should do one thing. I get that. And of course, I am harassing one of my children to make sure she gets her homework done, harassing her teachers to make sure that she gets individualized attention, and trying to stop my other daughter from baking every single day. Because apparently when you are this big, you need sweets constantly, and the rest of us can't handle that. And then, of course, my other daughter has been designing clothes. First, she started off with doing YouTube intro videos, and people were sending me money on my Cash App because she was doing these YouTube intro videos for them. So that was her COVID-19 business. And now she has started designing something called Stack Jeans. I should make her come in here and show you them. I don't know. But now people are saying, we got people who want to come and bring their jeans to our house and send money to my Cash App so she can do this. Mind you, she's hand stitching and stuff because I haven't showed her how to use the sewing machine yet. And we may have to get her the sewing machine back if she's going to be serious because we don't. Well, no, she can just use mine. What am I saying? I don't sew that much. So, to recap, because I have gotten all over the place, apply for the pandemic unemployment assistance if you are self-employed, a gig employee, or 1099. Apply for county assistance from the county assistance office, old-fashioned welfare if you need food, perhaps cash, or medical care for you or your children. Talk to everyone who you have bills with, and see if there's a way that they can push back, give you some kind of credit, not charge you late fees, or otherwise give you any kind of anything, some kind of consideration as to not paying all of your bills at one time. Do not let your pride get in the way of asking for all the help that you need, because we're all in this together and we need help. Continue to look at other sources of income and other ways to make money. As I said, I have specials for everyone who wants to do wills and powers of attorneys for your health care or for your finances. I'm also doing some low content books, some journalings, and going to produce some of those things. I have another book about COVID-19 that I'm in the middle of writing that will be out shortly. Actually, 2 of them, but the person helping me in the other one was awful, so I have to redo everything. And if this is going to be available, Peggy, is what going to be available? Oh, tell me is what going to be available, and then I'll answer you because I don't know what you mean. And give yourself a break. Does that make sense? Give yourself a break. I know that I've told you all the things I'm doing, and I'm doing the most, and I'm not sleeping a lot. I get it. I'm not. But one of my kids is up all night long because she is having night terrors and having difficulty being in this world without her social life. So give yourself a little bit of grace. I think that's what we all should be doing right now. All right, my session. A lot of people need to hear this. Okay, Peggy, if you think it should be available, I will make it available. I wasn't sure because I was being a little personal, and I was like, do people want to hear all my personal stuff? Do they want to know how hard this is? And you know what? Yeah, I think they need to hear it because I have a freaking law degree from Georgetown and a master's degree. I've completed all the coursework for a PhD. I, had magna cum laude in college, and when I tried to fill out that unemployment thing, I don't know if I did it right still. It said it was completed, and it was hard. It was just hard. And I mean, now that I've been through it, I can talk some people through it. I can help you with it, but it was hard. It was hard to do. It was hard for me to get the chutzpah up to do it. It was hard for me to know what materials I would need. Like, do I have my taxes? Do I have the right information? And just emotionally thinking that I need to ask for help. I never ask for help. I don't ask for help. Oh, well, now that I have you on here and I'm going to ask for help, go to my YouTube page for Jones & Associates Law PC and subscribe. I need 3 more people. Thanks. So that was my rambling about the pandemic. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments and conversing with all of us about this. One more time, we're all in this together. I know I sound like that. We're all in this together. Okay, so I have Disney Plus. Whatever. Hey, Kevin. I'm not going to do any more dancing. But since we're all in this together, I'm just going to say, do not be afraid. Do not be ashamed. Do not fail to do what you need to do to get what you need. Now, I'm actually going to have to get off live because my daughter has requested that I make balsamic chicken, and I don't remember exactly how I did that because I made it up. So I made it up a couple of weeks ago. It's been very popular since. So I'm going to do that. And she said she made broccoli. So we'll see what goes with it. I think I threw the potatoes out today. So I'm guessing rice. Rice? Oh, now all the good people are coming on. No. Thank you for subscribing, Sir Monique. Yay! But yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jones & Associates Law PC, I don't usually ramble this. I ramble. I do ramble, but you know what the topic is about, so it's not so bad. And I guess I'll see you guys later. If you have any idea. Oh, I forgot. Tomorrow is Friday. If you go to my Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Jones ASSOC, JONES ASSOC. I wonder if I can add it here. Do I know how to add it in here while I'm talking? Let me try that. At any rate, if you go to that page, you will see, you can go to this page too because I shared it. You will see that tomorrow I am having a Facebook Live where I answer questions. It's all going to be questions and answers. So all you have to do is go and send me your questions. You can DM them if you don't want anyone to know it's you. And yeah, that's good. You can DM the questions. Hey, Tanya. And I'm just going to answer questions tomorrow. So the live is going to be all about questions. It's going to be a hodgepodge. Tell people it's free legal advice. So if you have any friends who just want some legal advice in the midst of all this and they can't afford a consultation somewhere, tell them to DM the questions, send it to my page. And I'm actually going to be answering them tomorrow on a Facebook Live. I'll give you guys a heads up when that time is. I'll probably cut off questions around noon just so that we have time to prepare them all. And by we, I mean me, because I'm not even having my assistant or anything help. So, I don't know. So, yeah, just send the questions. Or you can go to that either on my page or on my law page. You can just go and you can just put the person's name there. If you put their name, tag them in it, they'll be able to ask their own questions. So thank you all for listening. Please, please, please ask some questions because we all know how I ramble if you don't ask questions, and nobody wants that. So again, Jackie Jones, Jones & Associates Law PC, your family fixer. Thanks so much. You have a great day. I look like my mom? Thanks. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, I'll put in Lawyers for Lawyers group too, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.